The jungle where no human returned, the dropship's doors opened with a hiss, letting out the sharp scent of damp air and alien pollen. Mason Riley stepped onto the moss-covered ground, boots sinking slightly into the soft, living earth. His scanner beeped weakly, no signal. Just as expected, he was deep inside the Emerald Vale, an untouched alien jungle on planet Varelia. A place most humans didn't dare enter. They say no one ever comes back, the local outpost captain had told him. That jungle's cursed. It doesn't just kill, it keeps people. But Mason wasn't like most exobiologists, former Marine, adventurer, and, truthfully, a little too curious for his own good. He pressed deeper into the jungle, pushing aside glowing vines that pulsed like veins. Strange chirps echoed overhead. Once, something huge passed through the trees above the butte. When he looked, it was already gone. Hours passed. His suit was damp with sweat. The deeper he went, the thicker the silence became. That's when he heard a voice, not a growl, not a beast's roar. A song, soft, sad, female. He froze. It was coming from ahead, just beyond the thick ferns. Carefully, Mason crouched, pushed aside a branch, then saw her, a girl, not human. Tall, slim, with glowing blue skin and long silver white hair. She was tangled in something. No, not tangled. She was wrapped in the thick, coiled body of a giant snake. Mason's breath caught in his throat. The snake was easily 30 feet long, scaled in deep emerald and obsidian black. Its muscular body was curled around the girl like a living cage. Hush. Its head hovered inches from hers, tongue flicking, yellow eyes watching. But she wasn't screaming. She was singing. Eyes closed, arms relaxed. Her expression calm, as if this massive serpent wasn't slowly tightening its hold on her. Mason raised his plasma knife instinctively, but he hesitated. What was this? The girl's eyes opened suddenly and locked with his. Startled, Mason froze. Her pupils were vertical, like a cat's. Her lips parted slightly in surprise, then curved into a faint smile. The snake turned its head too. It had noticed him. Mason stepped forward carefully, hands up. Hey, are you okay? Don't move. I'll help. The girl suddenly moved, but not to scream. She reached out, placing a hand gently on the snake's head. The massive serpent relaxed, loosening its grip slightly. Then, to Mason's utter confusion, she slid her fingers over the snake's scales and slowly leaned forward, hugging it. The snake hissed softly and uncoiled a bit more, slithering lower and wrapping loosely around her waist instead. Mason blinked. What are you doing? She tilted her head, studying him. Her voice was musical, with a strange accent. He does not hurt me. He protects me. You call that protecting? Mason gestured to the thick coils. She nodded slowly. He tests those who watch to see who will run and who will stay. Mason took a step back. Is he testing me now? Her lips curved again, this time into something almost teasing. You didn't run. Suddenly, the snake's head dipped down, brushing against Mason's chest. He jumped. The girl chuckled softly. Varu likes you. Varu, Mason repeated, heart pounding. My guardian. Mason was still trying to process all of this when the snake Varu's lit off her body completely, dropping to the forest floor with a thud. It slithered back toward the shadows, pausing once to glance at Mason, then disappeared silently into the vines. Only now did Mason truly see the girl standing in front of him. She was beautiful. Not just in the otherworldly sense, but truly stunning. Her skin shimmered like polished stone. Her silver hair fell to her hips. She wore little more than a woven wrap made of leaves and glowing threads, and she was watching him with amusement. And something else? You blush, she said, stepping closer. Mason quickly looked away, face turning red. Wasn't expecting. Her skin suddenly shifted color from soft blue to a rosy purple. "Don't worry," she said, with a small smile. "It happens to me too." "What does?" he asked, still avoiding her eyes. The warm face, the flutter inside. The pause, looking for the right word. Shyness. Mason cleared his throat. "Yeah, that." The jungle around them pulsed with life. Somewhere in the distance, an unseen creature roared. But here, in this strange pocket of calm, Mason felt something shift. Not danger, not fear. Something new. "You saved me," she said. "I don't think I did anything." "You didn't run," she repeated, voice softer now. "No one ever stays." She stepped closer, lifting a hand. Mason didn't move. Her fingers brushed his cheek just lightly. "Maybe," she whispered. "You're the one I was waiting for." And just like that, the forest around them seemed to lean in, watching, listening, waiting for what would come next. Her skin changed colors. When she saw him, Mason followed the alien girl through the twisting jungle paths, vines curling like lazy snakes across the forest floor. Above them, the trees stretched so high they vanished into green mist. The girl moved gracefully, her bare feet silent on mossy ground, her glowing hair bouncing lightly as she walked. She hadn't told him her name yet. He wanted to ask. But something about her calm, maybe the strange shimmer in her skin made him hesitate. "Where are we going?" he asked. She looked over her shoulder, her glowing eyes unreadable. "Somewhere safe. Varu is nearby. He will watch." "Varu," Mason muttered. "Still can't believe that snake didn't crush me." The girl chuckled softly, and Mason swore. The air around them grew warmer. Her skin, before a cool blue now, pulsed with soft lavender. "You change colors?" he said quietly. She paused. Her smile faded. "Is that rude to ask?" Mason added quickly. "Sorry if no," she said, turning to face him. "Not rude. Just honest. Most are not." Her skin shifted again, this time to a gentle silver, like moonlight, reflecting. "On water, my kind," she said, show emotion through color. "We don't speak lies with words. The body always tells the truth." "What does silver mean?" She looked down. Peace. Curiosity. He stepped closer. "What did lavender mean earlier?" She hesitated. Her cheeks flushed deeper violet. Mason blinked. Was it embarrassment? She looked up at him. "You?" Asked too many bold questions for someone who'd just met a stranger in a jungle. "You're not a stranger anymore," he said, smiling. She turned quickly, hiding her face. But Mason noticed her skin darken to a soft rose pink. They walked in silence for a while. The deeper they went, the more the forest changed. The light dimmed. Strange floating lights blinked between the trees, like jellyfish drifting through the air. Suddenly, they stepped out into a wide clearing. High above, platforms were woven into the trees, bridges made of braided vines. Soft glowing pods nestled into the branches. It was a village, suspended in the canopy. She led him toward a large vine lift, then paused. "Wait here." She leaped. Upward, far higher than a human could, caught a hanging root, climbing like a dancer into the trees above. Mason waited. Then he heard whispers. Soft voices in a language he couldn't understand. He looked up. A group of aliens similar to her were watching from the trees. Their glowing skin pulsed in quick patterns of orange and green. A few pointed, one even hissed. He wasn't welcome. Then she returned, swinging down lightly in front of him. "They don't like me," Mason guessed. "They fear you," she corrected. "I get that a lot." She smiled faintly. "They've seen humans before, but not kind ones." "You mean others have come?" "Yes. Hunters. Traders. they took, burned, lied. Mason frowned. "That's not me. I know," she said simply. "That's why I brought you here." A pause. Then, softly, she added, "And why I'm in trouble now." Mason tensed. "They'll hurt you because of me." Not hurt, just question. "Wonder why I would trust a warm-blooded outsider." "And why do you trust me?" he asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at the jungle floor. Her color shifted again back to lavender. "You stayed," she said finally. "Even when Varu tested you, I couldn't just leave you. Most would." Mason stepped closer. "Then they're not me." She looked up. Their eyes met. Time paused, but before anything more could happen, a deep rumble echoed from the trees above. Mason spun, instincts flaring. What was that? "Stay behind me," she whispered. A massive figure dropped down from the canopy with the silence of a ghost. It was an elder male of her species, taller than both of them. His skin was dark like polished stone, marked. With glowing green tattoos, he looked at Mason like one might look at a disease. "You bring danger." The elder growled in perfect English. "I bring myself," Mason said carefully. "And I came alone." No human is ever truly alone. You carry violence in your bones. The girl stepped between them. He passed Varu's judgment. He meant no harm. The elder's eyes narrowed. Still, he must prove his place. Prove how? The elder turned slowly to Mason. "Tomorrow, at dawn, you will enter the flame caverns." Mason frowned. "That sounds lovely." The elder ignored the sarcasm. "You will face your fears there. If your soul is weak, the jungle will claim you." Mason looked at the girl. "Is this really necessary?" She nodded, eyes filled with worry. "If you want to stay, if you want them to trust you." "Yes." He exhaled. "Then I'll do it." The elder grunted and disappeared back into the trees. Mason turned to the girl. "Still haven't told me your name?" She smiled faintly. "Nara." "Niaru," he repeated. "I'm Mason." As he said her name, she blushed again deep pink. And in that moment, under the glowing trees and the strange stars above, Mason realized he wasn't just walking into a jungle. He was walking into something far deeper, something alive, something watching, and perhaps something waiting for them both. The snake was her guardian. And it was watching. Night in the jungle came fast. Not like Earth's gradual sunset, but sudden, as if someone had flipped a switch. One moment, soft golden light filtered through the canopy. The next, the sky turned black, and glowing plants lit the ground like scattered stars. Mason sat near a small fire on a high wooden platform suspended in the trees. Nira sat across from him, legs folded, her glowing silver hair falling over one shoulder like silk. Above them, the strange alien jungle buzzed and hummed. "Life never slept here. You shouldn't have accepted the trial," Nara said softly, her voice nearly lost in the wind. "I didn't really have a choice," Mason replied. "Did I? You could have run." He chuckled. And missed this. Romantic evening in a tree with a girl who glows when she blushes. Not a chance. Her cheeks warmed to soft violet. But then her gaze dropped. The flame caverns aren't just a trial. They break the unworthy. Mason frowned. "You've seen someone fail." She nodded. "A friend. Years ago, he went in strong and came out silent. Never spoke again. The jungle took something from him." Mason was quiet for a moment. Then he looked into her eyes. "If I make it through, does that change anything between us?" Her skin turned a gentle rose. "You already changed something," she whispered. Suddenly, something heavy landed on the platform with a thud. Mason stood up, hand reaching instinctively for his blade. Then he saw the coils thick, smooth, and glistening. The massive head rose slowly from the shadows. Varu, the giant snake slithered forward, silent and terrifying. Its yellow eyes locked onto Mason like twin torches in the dark. Mason didn't move, didn't breathe. "Easy, Nira," whispered Varu. Circled them once, slow and deliberate. Then it slid between them, coiling protectively around Nira's legs. Mason took a step back. "He's jealous," Nira said gently, brushing her hand along Varu's thick body. "He senses the bond." "What bond?" Mason asked. She looked at him, her skin a soft blue again. "Between you and me." He blinked. "You're saying he's guarding you from me, not guarding?" "Watching." Mason knelt down cautiously, staring into the snake's eyes. "You don't trust me, do you?" Varu didn't hiss, didn't strike, just stared. "I get it," Mason said. "I wouldn't trust me either." Nira smiled faintly. "You talk to him like he understands," Mason said. "He does. Like, with words." "No, with feelings, memory, smell. My people have lived with creatures like Varu for generations. They're not pets. They're family." Varu slowly shifted his massive head toward Mason again. This time, he leaned close, too close. The snake's tongue flicked out, brushing Mason's cheek. He tensed. Then Varu pulled back and slithered away into the trees again without another sound. "Was that good or bad?" Mason asked, wiping his face. Nira giggled softly. "That was curious. He's trying to understand you." "Great. The giant snake is emotionally invested in our relationship." She looked at him seriously now. "Aru knows the danger ahead. If you fail tomorrow, he'll mourn." Mason nodded slowly. "Tell me more about this trial. What's in the flame caverns?" Nira was silent for a long time. Then she said, "It's not a test of strength. It's a test of soul. The cavern shows you something you've buried, something that broke you once, and I have to face it. Yes, and not run." Mason looked out into the jungle. The glowing trees swayed gently in the night breeze. Somewhere far below, a low rumble echoed. Something big moving through the undergrowth. "What broke you?" he asked quietly. Nira looked down. "Losing someone, a human. Long ago." Mason turned sharply. "Wait, you've known humans before." She nodded. "My father." His mouth went dry. "What happened?" She didn't answer right away. Her skin turned a deep purple gray. "Sadness. He left," she whispered. "Not because he wanted to, because he had to. The jungle doesn't let go easily. It kept him." "I'm sorry." She nodded. "That's why I brought you here. When I saw you, when Varu didn't strike you down, I thought maybe this time the jungle would give someone back." Mason stepped closer. "I'm not going anywhere," he said firmly. "You might not have a choice," she replied. Voice barely audible. Silence stretched between them again. Then she stepped closer. Her hand reached out, touching Mason's chest gently, just over his heart. "I will wait outside the flame caverns," she said. "If you come back out, I will never question the bond again. And if I don't," her hand trembled, "then I will sing for you and let the jungle remember." Mason covered her hand with his own. "I'll come back." She looked up, eyes shining, and from the trees above. Varu watched. The trial of the heart flamed. The dawn was thick with fog. Like the jungle itself was holding its breath. Mason stood shirtless at the edge of the flame caverns. A cold mist curled around his ankles, and the carved stone arch before him glowed with ancient glyphs pulsing softly, as if alive. Alien elders formed a silent circle around him, their expressions unreadable. Above in the trees, Nara watched with wide, worried eyes. He met her gaze one last time. She touched her chest with 2 fingers, a sign he'd learned meant stay strong. Then he stepped into the mouth of the cavern, and the jungle swallowed him whole. The air changed immediately. No more birds, no more insects, no wind, only silence. The path inside sloped downward, walls flickering with strange light. Moss grew in glowing patches across the stone, and heat, dry and heavy, pressed against his skin. After a few minutes, the tunnel opened into a vast, dome-shaped chamber. There was no flame, only a still pool of water in the center, smooth as glass. Around the edge, carved statues of creatures he didn't recognize watched with stone eyes. Then the glyphs on the walls lit up bright red, and the air shimmered. Mason blinked. Suddenly, he wasn't alone. Across the water, a figure stood tall, broad, familiar to his father. But that was impossible. His father had died when Mason was 16. The man stepped forward, boots echoing on the stone floor. He wore his old marine gear-scuffed armor, the same scar down his cheek. Just like Mason. "Remembered? You left her," the figure said. Mason blinked. "What? You left Mom? You ran off to the stars. Buried yourself in missions, planets, alien plants, just like I did." "That's not fair," Mason snapped. "You don't know what I know exactly what you did," the figure interrupted. "You ran because it was easier than staying and feeling useless." Mason clenched his fists. "You're not real." "Maybe not," the figure growled, stepping closer. "But the truth is..." Mason tried to look away, but the pool's surface reflected the vision perfectly. "She died alone," the man said. "You weren't there. You couldn't even come back for the funeral." Mason's heart pounded. His mouth was dry. "I wanted to," he whispered, "but I was trapped on Delthor 4. "No transport, no comes excuses," the figure said. Coldly, "You didn't fight hard enough. You escaped to the stars so you wouldn't have to watch someone else fade away. You failed her." Mason felt something crack inside. He had told himself 1,000 times that it wasn't his fault. But here, in the flame cavern, the guilt pressed like a hand on his chest. He dropped to his knees. "I'm sorry," he whispered. The image of his father slowly vanished into smoke. The pool stilled again, and then the walls began to shift. From behind him, a new shape formed this time. Small, curled, pale, nigher, but not like before. She was lying on the ground. Eyes empty, her skin colorless, lifeless. "No," Mason breathed. "No, no, 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 this isn't real." She reached a trembling hand toward him, her voice faint. "You promised." The jungle vines curled around her ankles, dragging her slowly backward into the shadows. "You said you'd come back." Mason scrambled forward, grabbing for her, but the floor melted under his feet, and he plunged into darkness. He landed in a new space, floating. A voice echoed around him. "You fear love. You fear losing. But love is not possession. It is return." Mason's body trembled. "I didn't run because I was afraid of love," he shouted. "I ran because I didn't think I deserved it." The voice paused, then whispered, "Then prove you do." Suddenly, Mason's body began to glow, a burning red light spreading from his chest. It didn't hurt, it warmed. A memory rushed through him. Nara's smile, her hand on his heart, the way her skin turned soft rose when she blushed. He wasn't here for survival. He was here for her. When Mason opened his eyes again, he was lying next to the pool. Steam curled from his skin. His chest burned, but when he looked down, there it was, a mark, a glowing symbol etched just over his heart, spiraling lines and curves. Like a flame wrapped in vines, the glyph of the jungle he had passed. He had been accepted as Mason stepped out of the cavern into the daylight. The circle of elders fell silent. Nera was there. She gasped when she saw the mark. Then, without a word, she ran to him and threw her arms around his neck. He held her tightly, I thought. She whispered, trembling, I thought you wouldn't come back. I almost didn't, Mason replied, voice rough. But I couldn't leave you. Her skin turned bright pink as she pulled back. The elders stepped forward. One touched Mason's shoulder. You are bonded now, the elder said, by fire. And by choice. Mason looked down at the mark on his chest, and then into Nara's eyes. In that moment, the jungle bloomed around them. But far in the distance, something much older stirred, and it had also felt the bond. Her people marked him with their bond. The jungle didn't sing that day. It, hummed. Every tree, every leaf, every root beneath the soil seemed to sense what had happened. Mason walked behind Nara through the upper branches of the canopy village, feeling eyes on him, some curious, others wary. But none hostile. Not anymore. The glowing mark on his chest still pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat under his skin. You wear the jungle seal now, Nara said softly, glancing back at him. It means you're part of us. And what does that mean exactly? Mason asked. Nara paused. Her skin shimmered between silver and rose. It means if you leave, the forest will call you back. And if you stay, you're no longer just human. Mason's brow furrowed. I didn't think a glowing tattoo would change everything. It's not ink, she said. It's soul fire. A piece of the living jungle inside you. Before he could respond, the elders approached. One of them, a tall woman with eyes like glowing amber, raised her hand. You completed the trial. Of the heart flame, you did not turn away. Now you must receive our final rite. Another trial? Mason asked. No, the elder said. A gift. She placed a hand on his chest, right over the mark. The jungle around them went silent. Then something deep within Mason shifted. He staggered, catching himself on a vine. What was that? He gasped. You can feel what Nara feels now, the elder said. Your lives are linked. As long as she draws breath, you will sense her. And if she is in danger, you will know. Mason looked at Nara. You agreed to this. She nodded. It was the only way to save you in the flame caverns. I offered my link. His heart ached at the thought. You risked everything, he said. I didn't risk anything, she replied. I chose you. Later that night, they sat alone on a vine-covered balcony, high above the jungle floor. Glowing birds flew between branches, and bioluminescent flowers slowly opened in the moonlight. Nara sat beside Mason, legs tucked beneath her. She stared out into the trees, her skin calm and silver. You said your father was human, Mason. Said gently. She nodded. His ship crashed here before I was born. He tried to leave, but the forest wouldn't allow it. Wouldn't allow. Some places choose to keep what they find. The jungle felt his spirit. It took him in. What happened to him? She looked away. He went into the depths where even my people won't go. He said there was something calling to him. He never returned. Mason felt a chill crawl down his back. And your mother? She died giving birth to me. Nara paused. The tribe raised me, but some always looked at me as different. Half human, not quite one of them. He looked at her glowing skin, her wild grace, her calm strength. You're more than either side. You're something new. She smiled. That's why Varu protects me. I'm not like the others. Speaking of Varu, Mason looked around. Where's your oversized guardian snake tonight? Sleeping, I think, she said. But he always watches. As if on cue, Mason felt a presence nearby. A low, rumbling energy. Familiar now. Heavy. I think he likes me more than he lets on, Mason said. Maybe Nira smirked. Or maybe he's just waiting to eat you the moment I say, I'm bored. Mason laughed. Then the jungle shivered. Not wind, not birds. Something else, a deep vibration that rolled through the trees like a warning. Drum. Mason's hand went to the sidearm he kept strapped to his leg. What was that? He asked. Nira stood slowly. I don't know. That sound doesn't belong here. More lights flickered through the trees far away, but coming closer. Not the soft glow of jungle plants. Artificial light. Humans, Mason whispered. Nara's? Skin turned pale green fear. They must have picked up your heat signature, she said. Or maybe they followed your drop trail. If they think this place is unclaimed land, they'll try to take it. Nara looked down into the dark forest. They'll burn it, cage the animals, hunt the elders. And when they see someone, like me half human, they'll try to capture you, Mason finished grimly. She turned to him, suddenly tense. You have to leave. Go to them. Tell them you're the only survivor from your drop. Pretend you never saw us. I'm not leaving you, Mason said firmly. They'll kill you if they think you chose us over them. Then, I guess I'll have to make them believe I'm not just human anymore. Nara stared at him, her skin flickering between colors: fear, panic, confusion, and finally, soft pink. You're stubborn, she whispered. Mason grinned. You're just figuring that out now. From the trees below, heavy steps echoed. But before anything reached the village, a loud, distant roar tore through the jungle. Something massive, not human, not Varu, not anything Nira had ever heard before. She grabbed Mason's arm. That wasn't from the scouts, she said, her voice shaking. Then what was it? She looked into the darkness beyond the trees. Something ancient. Something that eats fire and flesh. Mason drew his weapon. I think the jungle just changed the rules. The creature that consumes the bonded the jungle didn't breathe. It shuddered, birds scattered, insects silenced. Even the glowing vines curled inward like they were afraid. Nara and Mason stood at the edge of the village's highest platform, staring into the shadow-thick trees below. Then the roar came again, closer this time, deeper, hungrier. That's not one of your animals, Mason whispered. No, Nira said, voice tight. That's not part of the forest anymore. What is it? She didn't look at him. A myth. Mason's heart dropped. Not what I wanted to hear. They call it Zerax, she continued. The devourer. It hunts the bonded, smells the link, and feeds on it. Mason instinctively touched the mark glowing on his chest. So it's coming for us. Nira nodded slowly. Not just us. Any pair with a soul link. If it's awakened, the entire village is in danger. From the canopy below, huge branches cracked. Then something massive stepped into view, its form hidden behind the vines. But its shape was all wrong. Too many limbs. It's a body that moved like liquid, yet thudded like stone. Glowing red eyes blinked open in the shadows, and 1, 2, 4 mouths opened across its chest, each filled with spiraling fangs. Mason whispered, That's not natural. It's not, Nira said. The jungle didn't grow it. It twisted itself into that when it fed on a bonded pair. Centuries ago. Great, Mason muttered. So it's a monster made from love. Rue suddenly dropped from the trees. Behind them, with a heavy thud, his body coiling protectively around Nira. His eyes glowed. And his hood flared out like a cobra about to strike. He remembers it, Nira whispered. He fought it once, barely survived. The village erupted into motion, elders guiding the children into the higher nests. Warriors grabbing spears and organic boughs strung with glowing vines. But deep inside, everyone knew. They weren't prepared. For this, Mason turned to Nura. "I've fought tanks, beasts, and alien war machines. But I've never fought something that feeds on emotions. You don't have to defeat it," she said. "You just have to drive it back. Make it forget." "Us? How?" She looked into his eyes. "By breaking the bond." His heart dropped. "You mean sever the connection between us?" She nodded, her skin pale blue now grief. "If we break the soul link, it can't smell us. It'll turn away." Mason clenched his fists. "No, I won't lose you. It's not about losing," she said, tears forming. "It's about saving everyone else." Before he could speak again, the monster charged. Branches snapped. A shockwave hit the platforms. Va, are you launched off the balcony like a missile, wrapping his massive body around the creature's midsection. But Xerx opened one of its chest mouths and bit down, lifting the snake into the air and slamming him to the ground. "Varu?" Nara screamed. Mason didn't hesitate. He leaped down the platform, landing hard but upright. He drew his plasma cutter, its blade glowing white-blue. "Hey, ugly, over here." Xerx turned its many eyes toward him, and for a moment it paused. It smelled the bond, and it smiled. Mason raised his blade. The creature lunged. Nara followed, leaping down with a cry. The vines answered her scream. Thick ropes of jungle plants shot out and wrapped around the monster's legs, slowing it just long enough for Mason to slash at its chest. The blade burned across one of the mouths, and it howled in pain. Then Naor placed both hands on Mason's back. Her energy flowed into him like fire and lightning. His mark glowed brighter than ever before. Together they stood, but the more their bond pulsed, the more the monster surged forward. "It's too strong," Nara gasped. "It wants the energy we create." Mason turned to her. "Then we overload it." Her eyes widened. "What? Can we push the bond?" "I feed it everything, all at once." She stared at him. "That might kill us." Mason took her hands. "Then let's make sure it dies first." She hesitated, then nodded. Together, they knelt, fingers locked. Hearts aligned, the bond flared, a surge of white fire erupting from Mason's chest, mirrored by Nara's glowing arms. The ground trembled. The jungle screamed. Light poured into the clearing, like a sun being born beneath the trees. Xerx lunged right into the blast. Its scream shattered branches. Its bodies twisted, its mouths opened in agony as the flood of raw, unfiltered emotion, love, fear, grief, hope burned it. Then, the final roar. It vanished, dragged into the roots of the jungle, swallowed by the ground itself. Silence, only. The wind remained. Mason collapsed, barely breathing. Nura fell beside him, pulling him into her arms. "You're alive." He smiled weakly. "Didn't think love could kill a monster?" She pressed her forehead to his. "Only if it's real." Far above, the jungle slowly began to breathe again, and Varu, wounded but alive, slithered back toward them, his body shielding them once more. Asterisk. She touched his hand. And the jungle bloomed. Morning light filtered through the jungle like honey poured from the sky. Mason lay beneath the canopy, breathing shallowly, his body aching with every pulse. The ground beneath him felt warm, alive. He blinked slowly, and the first thing he saw was Nara's face, hovering over him, her silver hair softly glowing in the golden light. "You're awake," she whispered. He tried to smile. "Either I survived, or this is a very romantic afterlife." Her skin turned rose-pink instantly. "Still joking? That's a good sign." He looked around. They were in a quiet clearing now. Flowers bloomed in every direction, bright and fragrant. It didn't look like any place he'd seen in the jungle before. "What happened?" he asked. "You overloaded the bond," Nira said gently. "The energy sent Xerax back into the soil." The jungle accepted the sacrifice and took him. Mason sat up slowly, groaning. "We didn't die." "No," she said with a smile. "But the bond changed." He looked down at his chest. The mark was still there, but different now. Brighter. The lines had twisted into a new pattern, more elegant. "Like petals unfolding. It's permanent now," she added. "We're not just linked by trial anymore. The jungle chose us." Together, Mason looked at her, amazed. "So we're connected forever." She took his hand, her fingers cool and delicate in his. "As long as the jungle lives," she whispered. "So do we." Suddenly, a familiar weight slithered beside them. Varro's great head pushed through the flowers, his body coiling protectively around the clearing. His scales shimmered with strange gold highlights. "He had changed, too. He stayed by your side the whole time," Nira said. "He thought you were one of us." Mason reached out and placed a hand on the snake's rough skin. "Guess I passed his trial, too." Varro blinked once, slow and deliberate, before lowering his head gently against Mason's leg. "I think that means he approves." Nira laughed. High above, the trees creaked as the village elders appeared one by one on woven bridges. Looked down at the scene with awe in their eyes. "This place," one of the elders whispered, "was once a cursed ground. Nothing ever grew here. Now vines and blossoms crawled over every stone. Tiny glowing animals hopped through the grass. The air shimmered with warmth. You broke the death," the elder continued. "You didn't just survive the bond. You made it beautiful." Mason stood slowly, still leaning on Nira. The elder stepped forward and bowed low. "The jungle has marked you as one of its children." The other villagers began to chant, low and melodic, the rhythm echoing through the trees like wind through ancient leaves. Nira turned to Mason. "They'll want you to stay now, as part of the tribe." Mason was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked, "Would you want that?" Her hand squeezed his. "I've waited my whole life to not feel alone. When I met you, something changed. I stopped being half of something, broken, and started feeling whole." He looked into her eyes, bright, glowing with colors he didn't know names for. And he knew. This wasn't just about surviving an alien jungle. This was about belonging. He nodded. "Then I stay." Weeks passed, the jungle flourished like never before. The area around the flame caverns bloomed with rare plants that hadn't been seen for generations. Animals once thought extinct returned. Nira and Mason became known as the bonded bloom, the pair that awakened the soul of the forest. Mason adapted, quickly learning their ways, their stories, their rituals. Nira taught him how to speak through touch and color, how to listen to the forest without ears. Every night, they would sit under the stars, hand in hand, while Varro curled beside them like a guardian spirit. One morning, while walking by the stream, Keza placed his hand on her stomach. Mason looked at her, confused. At first. Then, "Why died? Are you?" She smiled, her skin shimmering gold. "The jungle gives back to those who love it." He stared, speechless. Then his mark pulsed again, hotter than before. They weren't just bonded. They were building a future. Years later, a human science vessel passed near the jungle. Scanners picked up strange growth patterns, mossable flora, blooming in perfect spirals, electromagnetic signals pulsing in harmony like heartbeats. But when a team attempted to enter the jungle, their tech failed. Their drones fell silent. Every trail disappeared, and in the final camera footage, a single image remained: a tall human man with glowing eyes and jungle markings across his skin, standing beside a beautiful alien woman and a massive serpent curled around their feet. The jungle behind them shimmered like a dream. Then the image cut out, and the jungle was quiet once more.